Don't know why I did that.
There
Here
we
we
go. Rally Towel family, welcome to the show. Apologize for the little screen slide show here. I think Corey was
Dramatic entrance.
trying to do some new filters here, so you got me sliding across the screen and everything.
Yeah.
But no, tonight, line to gain. With me as always, Mr. Corey James and Aaron Maley.
Yes.
Hello, gentlemen. How we doing this evening?
Doing real good. Ready to talk some football.
Yeah, Aaron's got a new energy about him in this defense now. This big signing for Denzel Ward.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited.
You got to lock up your big guys.
Sure, he's jacked to talk a little bit about that one.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot to cover tonight, chat.
Let's get into it.
Glad you guys are doing well. Let's waste no time and get into it. So obviously we have the NFL draft a week from today. How jacked are you guys right now on a scale of 1 to just rock solid?
I'm surprisingly flaccid for this.
Me too, man. I was gonna say, I'm right. Yeah,
it's kind of it's
really.
Much
I thought you guys would be just all about it.
No, because Corey's team was in the Super Bowl and my team traded our first round pick.
Yeah, I mean, we're an early second round pick, so it's
Not only that, you're just I've as a Browns fan. I remember years where I'm looking at the draft in October.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a whole different level. The first round pick thing is part of it. But and I kind of did this with the Cavs this year where I don't know any of these, first round picks for the NBA. And, it's because I was too busy watching my team try to contend for the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. Well, not only that, it's I think it's a good thing when you're not super jacked about the draft because that means that your team isn't we're not relying on that to be successful. Right. You know what I mean? It's anything right now is in addition to what we have. And so I think it's just a unique position that I haven't been in ever. So picking at 31, it feels different. And I think it's a good thing though.
How much do you guys think it's kind of a not sexy draft this year? There aren't top end quarterbacks. There's a lot of good players, I would say, at important positions, but there isn't that outside of, the receiver position's pretty good for the first round, but
right.
There's just not that quarterback flair like there has been.
Well, contrary to our belief, Josh Spence has a boner.
Yes.
Going into this draft. So
Rick Hard.
We'll just keep us posted on that. But no, you're absolutely right, Aaron. I mean, a big portion of the hype for every draft is the QB, it's the quarterback position. Obviously the most important position on any given team, and it's just not super deep this year. And even the talent that's there, of the QBs that are in the draft, how many would you guys say are franchise quarterbacks?
I don't know if you can say any of them are. I think there's a reason that you don't have the scrambling to get to the top like you would normally have if it was that kind of situation. So right. I don't think anybody's really super confident in any of these guys that they are franchise quarterbacks. Otherwise, we'd have a different feeling about these first few picks.
Yeah. Let me pose that a different way. If I set the over and a half at 1.5 of guys that are going to get second contracts with the team that drafts them.
So that was an interesting thing that you brought up because it reminded me of something. I was like, what's the over-under on quarterbacks taken in the first round?
I think it's probably 3.5. It's probably 4.5.
4.5? I think I would take that.
It's probably 3.5. I don't know. I haven't looked at that line.
I think I could commit to under on that at 3.5. I think I could go. Yeah, I could totally see that happening.
Oh, no, I'm saying for the guys that get second contracts.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was talking drafted in the first round. Sorry about that. Contracts, you said out of how many?
So if I set the over under at 1.5 of guys who get second contracts with the team that drafts them.
Yeah, I think I'd go under on that. Just statistically speaking. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What about quarterbacks taken in the first round? 3.5 over under. Bobby, what do you think?
Quarterbacks taken in the first round?
Yep, 3.5 over or under.
Under.
Over.
I say 3.
I'll take the over.
3 max.
Take the over just to be.
Just to make it at least fun to talk about.
Yeah.
But also, no, I mean, like, there's
Okay,
always,
so fuck it then. 2.5.
2.5.
Over under.
I'd take the over on that.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be at least
3.5's a good
three.
line.
We
I
think
there's gonna be
three
at
quarters.
least
We
three.
think 3 quarterbacks.
At least
are gonna be
3-4
taken.
would surprise me.
See, I could see like Malik Willis going early, and then like the next quarterback is Desmond Ridder at 32. That's what I could see happening.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of trading up for quarterbacks. I think it's going to be a lot of Mac Jones situations, where he's in our lap. All right, we don't have to give up additional capital. We can take a flyer.
Right.
Like the Steelers doing that in
Right.
the first round with whoever falls to them, I think would make a lot of sense. Or, I don't think the Panthers are going to take a quarterback. Maybe they do, but
Maybe
like
they
even
do.
teams like Detroit has 2 first-round picks. I could see a team like Atlanta taking a quarterback. I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm just like, hypothetically speaking, there's some guys who might take a flyer.
That's fair. So sorry, guys. I'm doing some quick math here. Give me a second.
Uh-oh. Watch out, world. Bobby's where is Warren Von Braun over there.
If you guys start seeing steam coming out of my headset, just tell me to stop doing what I'm doing. But no, it's obviously a week away. We're going to be doing some mock draft sessions here coming up, so stay tuned for that. Josh.
Speaking of which,
go ahead.
New blog is up right now. It's a 2-round mock draft. It's basically a compilation of 3 different mock drafts right there for you in one source for all the teams that we're covering. So go to rallytownsports.com, courtesy of Travis Parker, who is just a guy that's in the community at Rally Town Sports, and he contributed to the blog. It was awesome. So if any of you are interested in contributing to the blog, you can email us, rallytownsports09@gmail.com with your piece, and we'll probably put it up there. So
yeah, absolutely.
Unless it's some manifesto.
It's
Right. No, we want this to be sports
in that case,
related.
we'll just read it on the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to know all about your lives, but we may not just put it all out there just yet.
Yeah.
Have to proofread it a little bit.
We'll see.
But no,
Might be good radio. I don't know.
All right. So what, Corey, in your head, what's your biggest headline from this week in the NFL?
I think it's got to be Debo. It's got to be.
Absolutely.
Debo Samuel requesting a trade from San Francisco. Once out. Not disclosed as to why.
And every single team in the NFL was like, man, he'd look good in X.
Oh, of course. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think that there's a team on in the league that would just be like, you know what? I don't think he'd make us better.
I don't think we need a Debo Samuels type.
Right.
Every offense can make that work, and that's how good
a guy that can do anything on the field.
I mean, frankly, this is just the dominoes, right? It's the receiver market is just insane right now. Everyone's getting paid. Everyone wants to get paid, and it's just a new level of, if you want to call it player empowerment, fine. But I think a lot of these guys are realizing, if I'm going to go play, a game that I can be injured and never play again tomorrow, I'm going to go out there and get as much money as I can. And I'm fine with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, at a certain point, it's like, all right, these, I know receivers kind of considered that like diva position in the NFL, it seems. And I'm telling you, the Cooper trade for me seems better and better with seeing all these all these receivers are getting.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Debo's on a level of his own in some instances. So it's how jacked he was when he saw the Twitter feed going crazy after his trade request was announced, because he's like, oh, my market value is just skyrocketing right now. Bruce, thanks for liking the stream, man. Yeah, so he's just sitting back watching the fucking world melt when he declares that he wants to be traded, and just watching his value just sit there and climb. His agent is like, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
I just think Debo, I mean, it hasn't been said why he wants out, but if I had to venture a guess, it's he doesn't like the way he's being utilized. He's a very talented receiver, but he's not really getting the same opportunities. I'm going to run the stat by you guys because I saw it today from Warren Sharp. He's 5th in receiving yards in the league, 54th in routes run, 26th in targets, and he still finished 5th in receiving yards. And we saw how often they used him as a running back. So I think he wants more of those opportunities in an offense that is going to feature him. As the elite receiver, I think he can be like the Justin Jeffersons, the Jamar Chases, those young guys that are going to get those big money contracts. If he's not being put out there to his best of his ability, he's going to try to do that elsewhere.
It's a great point. So that raises a question: where is he going?
Literally, he could go anywhere.
What's the best fit? What's the best fit?
Honestly, the Chiefs. Like, it's the answer is usually always, if it's like an offensive skill guy, it's like, just put him with Pat Mahomes.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's a fail safe. Probably.
I'd love to see him on the Colts. I would love to see the Colts continue to be aggressive this offseason. They've been so aggressive this offseason. Mm-hmm. If they continued that trajectory and went and got Deebo Samuel, you're like, holy shit. Okay, here we go. Bobby, what do you think? Where would you like to see him the most?
I mean, I'd love to see him in a Steelers jersey.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
sure.
Ideally, I mean, we're pretty weak at the receiving core. I think the big thing for him,
I would hate that. I would absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I would love that you would hate it. But I think, on top of the way that he's being utilized, I also read an article that he is upset with that they won't restructure his contract.
Yeah,
they're not. I mean, you said it, Aaron, with the stats that he's throwing out there. I mean, what did he do rushing? Where did he finish in the league in rushing?
I don't know rushing, and he had a lot of those, like, where they're a receiver and you pitch it to him and it's still technically a pass, but it's not.
Right.
So I think that's, part of the reason he was so high in the receiving yards, especially when you look at those opportunities. I don't have the rushing numbers in front of me. I can pull it up. I got it.
I would bet that he was I would say he was probably in the top 15 in rushing. With as many attempts, he was on my fantasy
for the receiver position. Yeah, he had 59 attempts for 365 yards, but 8 touchdowns rushing.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile,
I think that's
receiving. Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had more rushing touchdowns than he did receiving touchdowns.
And I would bet that his contract is structured in a way that he wasn't getting paid as much for those rushing touchdowns as he would have if they were receiving touchdowns. There were probably some metrics he didn't hit because he wasn't getting targeted, enough on receiving routes, and they're not willing to restructure or renegotiate his contract. So he basically gave him the double birds and was like, all right, well, somebody else is going to pay me and do it the way that I want to do it. So,
and Shanahan's kind of,
he was the closest. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, I was to say Shanahan's has kind of shown himself to be that kind of coach where he's like, whatever's best for the team, which, is kind of what you want out of your coach. But, there's egos involved. And I mean, like we saw even just at the receiver position, Brandon Ayuk last year, like if he's on half of the other rosters, I'm sure they're playing him out of just pure, you were a first round pick, you show talent, you're going to have to just go out there and figure it out. Yeah. As opposed to Shanahan's like, I don't know who's the 4th string guy. At least he's running his fucking routes. Like he doesn't care about the skill part of it. It's you're going to fit into my system. And we've seen that with the running backs over the years as well.
Yeah. I mean,
he's the closest thing that they've been able to manufacture to a running game for a while.
I mean, Raheem Mostert, great talent, just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, they've always had a revolving door at that. They just go with the hot hand. Yeah, and then fantasy owners are like, fuck the 49ers.
Right. Well, I mean, just take it back to the days in Denver with his dad. The Shanahans just seem to groom some schemes for excellent running backs.
Yeah.
Anybody can go there that's talented if you're a running back, and the Shanahans will make you a fucking legend if you can stay healthy. I mean, obviously, we all know Terrell Davis, so and what he was able to accomplish.
Dude, I was the Broncos in NFL Blitz, religiously because you had TD, Sharp, and Elway. That's like, come on, run it.
One hell of a trio.
Josh,
you're the Vikings. Little Culpepper, Chris Carter action. I see you.
Yeah, I think it was even what was his name? Or it was. It was. What was his name? Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
That was Culpepper, and Moss was on there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, but who was the guy before? He was with the Eagles forever.
Donovan McNabb.
No. He was the guy before Culpepper. Now I don't know why it's
Randall Cunningham.
Cunningham. That's who it was.
There you go. Yep, you're right.
That was going to bother me.
Hey, I respect you for holding me accountable there, man. Thanks.
Josh said LeBum is going to recruit him to go play for the Lakers. Well, they need all the help they can get.
Who, Debo?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Who knows? Maybe Debo can play some basketball. Todd says San Francisco wants to treat his contract closer to a running back, and he wasn't having it. Yeah, man. I mean, with the way that the receivers got paid this offseason, I do not blame him for wanting to restructure and get the bag. But yeah, I think Aaron's right. I think KC's probably got the biggest need outside of Green Bay. KC's got to try to replace Tyreek Hill. And I think Debo, when healthy, is about as close as you're going to find right now on the open market. Everybody else is just, either past their prime or just not at that caliber. Corey, you looked like you had some thoughts.
No, I think wherever he's going to go, it's going to be a contender at this point. Like he knows that at this point he has value and a lot of teams want him. And so he's going to make contenders bid for him. So that's where he's going to go.
Right.
It's not going to, I don't see him landing in Jacksonville. You know what I mean? Or, some Houston, just because they threw the most money at him. Ain't happening.
Yeah, I don't see Debo as a guy that's going to completely chase the bag. I think he wants to go somewhere where he's going to be involved with a winning team.
He doesn't really have control, though, does he? I mean, obviously he can say he's not going to re-sign, but they can trade him anywhere at this point, right? How many years left does he have in his contract? Is it just the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Josh is saying he's going to go to the Cowboys, which
R.I.P.
They're kind of already in cap hell. But maybe
the new Dez Bryant. I think Debo is a little bit better than Dez, in my personal opinion.
I don't know if I can say one's better than the other because I've seen so much Dez Bryant that's just like, what the fuck? I mean, I've seen a lot of Debo too, but Dez is just one of the more exciting wide receivers.
I'm all for that
in a long time.
If the Cowboys want to jump at him, because if the NFC wants to start nibbling at some of the apple of these trades,
yeah, dude.
Right.
The
AFC is just turning into like the fucking Avengers, and it's
it really is.
It's like
it really
keep people out of here. So just somebody in the NFC, just go ahead, offer 2 firsts, and just keep them in that conference. I can't keep doing this.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So then you got like the Bucks or the Packers. I mean, Packers could
great,
use some,
sure.
Yeah,
Vikings.
I'm just thinking of just not the Rams though. Stay the fuck off the Rams.
What would you actually? I just spitballing here. What would you think about something like the Bears?
God no. Well, I don't know. It might be
as a
good for
team
Justin
that's just
Fields.
like, we're with Justin Fields, get him a legitimate weapon.
I thought we were saying contenders here.
Oh, totally. But for like,
yeah.
I'm spitballing, and I want it to stay.
Okay, so could Debo make them a contender?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it could he make a risk in that division?
So here's a hypothetical I threw out. If you're the Lions, would you give up your 2nd and 32nd for Jimmy G and Debo?
In a heartbeat.
I don't know. You already got Jared Goff on that.
Saw what that got you.
No, I just mean like I'm not going to pay $40 million for my quarterbacks to throw, 25 picks.
Okay, maybe you throw in a first next year and they take Jared Goff off your hands.
Maybe. Doesn't make sense. I don't know. I think if the Lions are going to do anything, I don't know.
Would a 32nd get it done just for Debo? Do you think for the Lions?
No.
I think it's 2 firsts or
San Francisco's going to get a healthy amount of either A, draft capital, or B, some substantial players for Debo.
I was going to say players. I could see the 49ers being like, we want this guy who fits in perfectly.
Right.
You want to know which offense would be extremely nasty if they added Debo Samuel? That'd be the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
Buffalo Bills.
That would be
really
good.
If he went to Buffalo, he was on the opposite side of Stephon Diggs. Like, just imagine how nasty. Like, Josh Allen would throw for 7,000 yards. Like,
yeah,
he would.
Because just get him in open space and flip him the ball and let him run.
Right,
just let him run. Let him do his thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Just run 4 verticals and hit him in the seam.
All right.
One of them's going to be open. One of them's going to go up and get it.
What if you gave him Tyler Boyd and next year's first round for Debo? What would you do? Would you do that if you're the Bengals? First of all, would you offer that up?
You're not. That's not getting it done. Whoop.
Oh, that's not bringing it
I don't
over.
think that's getting it done. No,
they wouldn't take that.
I think the Bengals would take that deal and run.
Okay.
I do too.
I don't.
More.
Think
They'd have to offer up more.
They would probably request somewhere more along maybe if it was T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and next year's first round.
Whoa! For Debo, come on, that's a lot for a wide receiver.
It's going to be a lot.
How much? All right. So what's the price? Do you think at least 2 first-round picks?
I think 2 first or a first and like 2 legitimately good young players.
That's a lot, man. I feel like I don't know. I feel like when all this always comes out, the market is inflated a little bit just from the shock of the deal, and then I think it falls down a little bit. 2 first-round picks is a lot for a wide receiver.
Yeah, but one as young as he is.
So did you guys trade for Odell?
Yeah.
What was the trade for Odell Beckham Jr.?
It was like a first, a third, and Jabril Peppers.
Okay. A first, a third. And he wasn't as young, injury issues. I think that market checks out just based off that Odell trade.
Well, I mean, what about
think about it, right? Older, injury prone.
It's like we've seen trades where this year of wide receivers, the market just keeps going up and up.
Yeah. What was the Adams trade again? Remind me, what was the?
I think it was
the 2 first rounders.
I think so. Let me see.
What you got for us, Bob? What's the chat saying while he's looking at
Josh says the Browns might fuck around and try to add a receiver, but I don't see it with the way that the OBJ thing worked out.
First and second. Adams.
A first and a second round pick.
So there's no way Debo goes for 2 first rounders then.
I still think
Devontae Adams is the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, but I think the age of Debo matters so much in this.
He is significantly younger, at least.
And you're going to get him for a long-term deal.
What if Justin
you know what I mean?
became available in a trade? What does he get? I view them in the same plane of that tier of where they are in their career.
Up and coming stars in the wide receiver position. Yeah. And that's when you want a wide receiver is on his way up, right? That's like, this is the time right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a substantial amount. Whatever that is, it's gonna definitely set the new bar for what a receiver of that caliber and age is worth. It's gonna be interesting to see. Tez says there's no way they're giving him away for a first round draft pick. It's just not going to happen. He's way too valuable for that. I mean, there's no way it's just going to be 1 first round pick. It's just there's no shot on this planet. It's going to have to be a first round, another high round pick, and probably a solid core player.
Yeah, if not 2 first, like a first, second, and a really good player.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so what does San Francisco need outside of what would they be asking for? Are they asking for defense? Are they asking for offense?
I never thought about this until you mentioned the Lions thing, but they could, instead of taking in some of that capital, use it to be like, you have to take Jimmy G just to get that contract out of there. I mean, they've been trying to do it all year, kind of package it in,
right?
Just kind of like what the Rams did last year to get Goff out of there. Not to the same degree, but I could see something like that.
Point. It's a good point. I didn't think about it like that. Debo's nasty, but he's not a franchise turnaround.
Wide receivers typically aren't. I mean, just one wide receiver. Yeah. That's not going to win. I mean, go look at the last like 10 Super Bowls. I think only 3 of them have top 10 wide receivers and top 5 wide receivers, I think it is, on their teams. So wide receivers don't necessarily win you a Super Bowl. Now, this year, it makes me look a little silly. Cooper Kupp, the leading receiver in the league, was on the Super Bowl champion team. But it's more than that. It's you got to have multiple guys that can do that. And I think the Rams demonstrated that. So
yeah, but he's a guy you can do so much with. He's a true like Swiss Army knife, almost in the same way that like Marshall Faulk was at the time. And obviously he was a running back and Debo's a receiver, but I just mean they're just gadgets out there all the time.
Yeah.
So it's a different level. I actually like the Colts one you mentioned. I think that fit makes a lot of sense. I'm just so sick of the AFC just loading up. So I'm hoping he stays in the NFC.
Right.
I didn't think about Indy. Indy would be a nice fit, and Matt Ryan would actually, that would really beef up that receiving core over there. I know Michael Pittman Jr. is there, which he had a solid season last year. But yeah,
I mean, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
I mean, that just makes him even better when you have both of them in the backfield. Who the fuck's getting the ball? Like,
right. I mean, just think of what that opens up for Debo and vice versa. I mean, they've got arguably the best offensive line in the league. Arguably the best running back, and you're adding a top 5 receiver. I mean, that would be deadly. Matt Ryan might be poised for one of his best seasons ever if he can figure it out at age 38, 37. How old is he now?
That's a tall order for the former MVP, but I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Be nice to see Matty Ice break it out. Maybe with the blue unis, Matty Ice will actually be cold. Back to MVP Matty Ice. But I know we had mentioned Denzel Ward a little bit, kind of switching gears here. Aaron, go into us on this, contract breakdown and what it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good signing for the Browns here. I mean, you lock up one of your, top defensive players. Denzel Ward has been, really a top 5 cornerback every year that he's been playing. 2-time Pro Bowler. Pro Bowls don't really matter in the NFL as far as I'm concerned. It's, what he does on the field, and he's really one of the best athletes at that position. And since they drafted him at 4, he's, been exactly what you want out of a cornerback. There is a little bit of that health concern for sure. But I really like the way they structured that contract. You sign him to $100.5 million or $100.5 million contract just to make him the highest paid cornerback. Our cap actually goes down $8 million this year. It's the same thing that Barry has done, where this year and next year is minimal, very small to the cap, and it jumps up to $22 million when the new TV money comes in. So the way he's structuring these contracts is, it's everything AB has done has been phenomenal from a GM standpoint, but at the same time, he's still giving the players the guaranteed money that they want, and it's just beneficial for both sides. So I love it. Once the when the salary cap goes up, it's going to be a very, very good deal for the Browns, not to mention, we're not paying him anything for the first 2 years until it does anyway. And I'm pretty sure the last year of the contract, you have a full out anyway.
I think it's the year before that. Yeah, you guys can get out. I think it's 2026, and the contract's good through 2027. The last year doesn't
hold a signing bonus, so they can, he has that salary, but you know how that works in the NFL.
Yeah, it would be like an $11.3 million dead cap hit is basically what the Browns would be looking at that point, and it's negligible. But I mean, the salary does continue. His cap hit does rise throughout the rest of the contract, so it is backloaded in that sense. But what it does, it freed him up for next year, anticipating that cap rise, like Aaron talked about. So I think they did a good thing, and they, he had one more year on the deal, I think, on his rookie contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
and then
he was
after
that
his
5th year option.
Right, he's going to be on his option, and now they've gotten ahead of that market. You're probably going to re-sign him anyway. The market's only going to continue to go up.
Right.
For corners,
but because of the re-signing, he was going to be owed like 12-13 million because it's his last year option. But they're able to spread that over the rest of the contract, so it's just an extension. So now I think he's like $5 million against the cap and $8 or $9 million against the cap next year, and then it's like 22. So the point is, like you were just saying, the window's open. This is the time you strike because you are leaving yourself some cap room to be able to bring in veterans and guys who can contribute right away. Obviously, the rookies that were probably, when you give up 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson, you're going to have to be able to bring in free agents. And if we're going to be competitive and have all these skill guys, Cleveland has been more of a destination for free agents in the last couple of years than it's ever been in my entire lifetime. Not that people are necessarily flocking there, but for guys who are like John Johnson last year, the safety, like that's a signing we don't make 5 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, The only thing I know is that the defenses in the AFC North just keep getting better and
Yeah.
better and better and better. Which makes divisional play extremely exciting. But yeah, I mean, Denzel Ward, obviously, I think Cleveland did a really nice thing getting in front of that. You guys mentioned it, but chat still wants to talk about Debo for a second, so we'll hop back on it for just a minute.
Let's do it.
Josh said he's tired of people leaving. Some of the best wideouts never had a badass QB. All right, well, let's pose this question: Who is the best wideout that never had a great quarterback?
Actively right now, it's Allen Robinson.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
active player. Question. Yeah, Allen Robinson.
Yeah, that's definitely the active. But he's playing with Stafford now. It'll be a little bump.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of all time, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I'm stumped on it. Honestly, part of me wants to say Larry Fitzgerald. Like he got end of
Kurt
Warner's career, and he had already gone through a complete.
He had Carson Palmer for
end of Carson Palmer's career.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's never really had.
He never had a prime quarterback. That's a good one.
No, that is a really good one, and he's still first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, would you argue Calvin Johnson?
You could, but I mean, he had Stafford
for his whole career. Yeah,
right.
Was it that? It was his whole
he ended
career,
up being a Hall of Famer.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, if your quarterback, helps you get to the Hall of Fame, I guess you can't give him too much shit, right?
Oh, Chad's got some good answers though. Brandon Marshall and Chad Johnson.
Brandon Marshall's a great answer.
Chad played with Carson, but he only played with like 3 good years of Carson max.
Right.
So it was. And then John Kitna. So I guess he technically played with Tom Brady, right? Did Chad Johnson technically?
Yeah, for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Let's see here. Tez said, but he is a receiver that takes your franchise to the next level. Think about it. San Fran got worse without him. If they lose him, no defense that plays the 49ers will have to worry about scheming to him or any particular player on offense. He drew all the attention. And then he said, imagine Deborah on the Rams.
Deborah would fuck shit up.
Deborah Samuel, man, just one of the best receivers of all time.
No, but I mean, yeah, he takes your franchise to another level. But let me ask you this: if just Debo is on the Lions, are they winning the Super Bowl?
No,
probably not.
Of course not.
Right. I just think he's elevated even more if he's on a team that already has all of these weapons around that, frees him up a bit. Like, let's not forget, like, the 49ers had some pretty good assets sitting around, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, spacing on right now on another.
Oh, I mean, all those running backs.
Yeah. I mean, so they had
all 76 of
them. Plenty of opportunities for, other people there to help that offense go and help Debo do what he does. So I think he goes to a place that already has some complementary pieces as well. He gets his money, he gets his contract, he's playing meaningful football. I think that's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Debo Samuel, obviously on the move. We'll obviously be talking about it moving forward until we find out where he's going to land. Tez said not a team like the Lions because they're missing too many pieces. Add him to a team like the Colts. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier, Tez. I mean,
everybody's hot on the Colts.
It'd be a nice fit. I mean, it makes sense. I would love to see him in black and gold, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think that's too much money. And
Saints, you want to see him go to the Saints?
No.
Black and gold, right?
I think it'd be a dark
I'm just
horse
kidding.
On it. The Eagles.
Don't troll me.
I could see him on
the Eagles.
So who was it from the Eagles that sent a tweet with like the eyeball emojis, just like looking like as soon as that tweet came out? God, I can't remember who it was.
Smith?
Was it Jalen Hurts?
No, it was one of their players.
I would be
one of their players on defense.
I
Fletcher
can't
Cox.
No.
It's the only Eagles defender right now.
I'll have to go find it somewhere. But Dale Pop
intern, look that up.
Chat,
We're
if
on
you
it.
guys have not liked the video yet, please do so.
Do it.
Please share it as well. I don't see any shares here right now. Let's try to pump it out to some more people that like to talk sports like we do. Okay, Josh said, okay, real quick, who is your all-time favorite wideout?
Randy
His
Moss.
is Marvin Harrison.
It's a good one.
It's a good Randy Moss.
Marvin Harrison's a good one too. Yeah. I might have to go with T.O. Same era, but
Yeah.
I like T.O. a lot. Yeah, he's the man.
Okay, I'm gonna try to be different here.
Get your popcorn ready.
I would probably have to say Calvin Johnson.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah,
I
mean, those are all three really good.
I honestly
options.
think he is the best wide receiver to ever play the game.
Right.
I don't think there's anybody that's. I mean, he didn't have obviously a longer career, but he retired early. But he's kind of in the same vein as Barry Sanders, where it's like we're not winning. I've already had a Hall of Fame career. I still have my body. Let's call it. But nobody can cover that guy. That dude would go up over the top of 3 defenders and come down with the ball no problem. I mean, he was 6'5", 260, just move.
Yeah, and like having sat through and watched it was a short career, but we got to watch all of it, right?
Right.
Like I've seen the documentaries of Bo Jackson, but I didn't get to feel it or live it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just had to hear that secondhand. I actually got to watch Megatron do that stuff, and it was a short career. You're right. That's a good answer.
I got to see it live. I was at Ford Field and watched him against the Bengals catch like a jump ball in the end zone. That was pretty fucking amazing.
Stiff arm somebody like through the turf.
Right. Yeah. They had to, stretcher him out off the field after that. But no, the Lions coincidentally ended up blowing the lead. Bengals game-winning field goal. Mike Nugent, no big deal, but pretty cool watching Megatron.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Tez said after playing for a prestigious team like the 49ers, he would love Pittsburgh. Hey, I'm all for that, Tez. And Tez said Jerry Rice. Tez. All right.
Jerry Rice is the Tim Duncan. He's great.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna argue with you.
Yeah, it's like that's a great answer.
Yeah.
I like a little more flair with my receiver, like Randy Moss. Just like all the guys we just talked about, like dunked on people.
Yeah, like remember T.O. was doing crunches in his fucking driveway,
or just
like, I'm working out.
Super Bowl with a bum
See
leg,
me?
like not even like a bum leg,
pulling the Sharpie
leg.
out,
broken leg.
Yeah.
Dale, thanks for sharing the stream, bro.
Yeah, no, I mean, so Tez is he grew up watching Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
Jerry Rice. That's
a guy that we didn't really get. We got to see him playing for Oakland for super back half of his career.
And didn't he play a year on the Seahawks?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And Jerry Rice was actually in that NFL blitz as well on the 49ers.
Yeah. I mean, the longevity of his career. It's so funny though. Take guys like Jerry Rice, Calvin Johnson, right? Jerry Rice played forever and was amazing at doing it. And he holds all the stats and no one's going to ever be able to touch him. He's going to live in the record books forever.
But who was throwing the ball to him? 2 Hall of Famers.
Oh yeah.
Joe Montana and Steve Young. Like
yeah, he did. Yeah. He wasn't playing with John Kitna.
Right. Yeah. No, he's definitely set up for success. Not that he didn't put in the work or work hard. He worked harder than most anybody, at least at that position during his time. Seeing all the videos of him running up and down those sand hills, I wouldn't be caught dead doing that. I'd probably have a heat stroke and pass out after going up it twice. But yeah, I mean,
Josh, Mike Allstott. Next question.
Mike Allstott. I was looking at that. I was like, Mike
next
Allstott's
question.
the answer.
Favorite linebacker?
No, best fullback.
Oh, best fullback.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I was up here still.
No, you're good.
We'll get to the linebackers and I'm Mike Allstott, 100%. There's no questions. That's
roll.
That dude just absolutely just bulldozed people.
Human form of a rhinoceros is what he was. Just running with a football.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't like Mike Allstott growing up, I don't know what you were doing. Ted said, "Have you guys ever
I would play
watched
Madden. I would play Madden. I would alter the depth chart to put him at the number one running back and just run like halfback toss the entire game. Just truck stick, baby.
Yeah,
couldn't stop it. Cheat code.
Absolutely. Ted saying, "Have you guys ever watched him and Dion go at it? It was greatness on greatness. The level of competition was like none I've ever seen, even to this day." I would be curious to has Dion ever come out and said who the toughest wide receiver he ever went one-on-one with was?
If
we all know Dion
himself, but
Goddamn right
I don't know. I'm sure he has, but I could also
probably
say
say Jerry Rice.
None of them.
Yeah, I mean, in that time frame, I mean, I'm trying to think of like guys in that same, maybe Michael Irvin. He
was on the Falcons though. Still,
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he would say like Jerry Rice or somebody like that, but I just never heard him ask that question.
Yeah, fair enough.
Intern, you got it. He's gonna look it up.
Peyton Hillis.
Yeah, that's Do you know why he got the cover?
Yeah, because they did like the fan vote, and I want to tell you it was because Cleveland got behind him, and we got behind him and put all the votes in. But it's just he's just a white dude,
right?
And it's kind of funny.
Yep, pretty funny,
especially when you look back on it. They just did the Madden 25 or whatever anniversary,
and his draft capital in fantasy leagues skyrocketed because of that Madden cover.
He was really good that year, but not Madden
just
cover.
Like the definition of a flash in the pan.
The only moment in history that should be left in the record books for Peyton Hillis is like, oh, that guy made the Pro Bowl that year. Like, okay, cool. That happens to guys, right? Like they just have one really good season. They sneak in.
Right.
Not Madden cover athlete.
Hey, do you think they have marketing meetings at EA and they're just sitting around like,
who's the most obscure person we could put?
We fucked up this year.
Yeah, that was the only year they did fan voting.
Yeah, we're gonna learn from this, right? Yeah.
Well, do you remember though too? That was back, and I feel like it's been broken since. But like the Madden curse was like a real thing.
Yeah,
and everyone wanted to talk about it.
I think shattered careers. Sean Alexander for one, probably.
I think Madden was just like, I don't know, you guys figure it out because we're just blowing out Achilles.
Right. Yeah. And then I had Pat Mahomes the first year when he was on the cover, and then he had that where he hyperextended his knee and almost tore his meniscus. Yeah. I was like, no, his season's over. The curse
wasn't he back in like 4 weeks from that?
Yeah, he came back super fast.
Ridiculous.
That's just injury. That's not Madden curse. Madden curse is like Vince Young is bagging groceries.
Oh shit!
Selling used cars.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I think Tez was responding to the favorite linebacker ever. Tez said LT or Ray Lewis. Good answers, man.
R.I.P. Junior Seau.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
he was elite.
Yep, for a long time.
Just because of my pride.
Yeah,
but I could. It's okay.
Right.
I'm just not going to say it.
Yeah. Probably not your morals.
My favorite that I'd probably like the two favorites that I've watched that I just think impacted the game at a high level are probably Ray Lewis and Luke Kuechly.
Luke Kuechly is a lot of fun.
I just look at it from guys that I've watched and seen play, and just their overall impact on a game. And both of those guys were just they had the ability to shift momentum so quickly. I mean, I'll never forget the clip where Chad Johnson tried to catch Ray Lewis off guard, and Ray Lewis tried
to hit him on a crack block. Yeah,
right.
Decleated him.
He's like, I tried to blindside Ray, but
I tried to hit Ray.
Between Kuechly and Calvin, though, you certainly have a type of the guys who retire really early.
Yeah,
you just want them to have happy, fulfilled lives, and I appreciate that about you.
Stay healthy. That's the reason he retired.
Yeah,
he was hurt a lot. He's kind of, I
What's
think
up, Ryan?
Carolina's kind of plagued with that, where guys like Christian McCaffrey, Luke Kuechly, guys that can't stay healthy.
I just remember that one being a bit of a shock when I heard he retired.
Yeah,
obviously same thing with like Andrew Luck, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh shit, seriously?
I think Andrew Luck takes the cake, at least in this century, of the most shocking retirement.
That one was wild.
In the 90s,
2 weeks to the season,
Barry Sanders, but
hey, I'm out.
I'm out of here. Hey, Jacoby, you're in, bud. You guys, I'll be on the golf
course. I'm gonna go study law at Harvard and become a learned doctor.
Is that what he's doing now?
I don't know. He's just super smart. He went to Stanford, so
yeah, he's not bagging groceries. I'll tell you
Wouldn't
that.
Surprise me.
He's on a golf course.
All right. So we had a lot of topics flow through our group chat today. Want to shift gears a little bit and swing it down to the land of college football. I know that we had spoken briefly on the NIL deals, especially what Florida has done. I know Corey's super jacked up about this, so I won't give too much away. I'll give you the floor.
No, it's in case you haven't heard, it's pretty abstract. It's called the Gator Collective. It's basically just a fan-based organization that boosters can donate to for experiences with the athletes. If it's like a meet and greet or a raffle for, gear or, jerseys or whatever it is. It's a way to drive revenue to support the athletes and engage the fans in that as well. Outside of that, it's not just paying them, it's helping them get NIL deals and build a brand. So if you're a top recruit and you want to build a brand or you want, help with that, don't you think you're going to go to the university that has that built in for you in their athletic program? I just think it's absolutely, there's going to be 6 more of them, I feel like, before the season even starts. So yeah, I was pretty blown away, but I'm really biased as to how this is going to affect the new programs, because it is 2 new programs, not just football. They hired a new football coach, but also basketball. They just hired a new basketball coach this year. So fresh regimes with new ideas. It could be exciting if you're a Gators fan. Only time will tell, obviously, but I'm curious if you guys saw anything about this, what your thoughts are.
Cover outside of just football and basketball as well? Is it just all Florida student athletes?
I
understand that football and basketball. Okay, that's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been of the opinion, if you can go down to the used car lot and sell, your name on your picture for $25, go ahead and do it, kind of thing. And I know this is way different, but before NIL was put into place, I never saw any issue with that. But of course, student athletes weren't allowed to do that. And now you're seeing, schools really start to embrace that, because that's now going to be a recruiting tool for top talent across the country. If I can go there and make some money on top of, while I'm waiting to become a professional athlete, if I can get to that point. If not, I'm gonna ride the sweet train of my talents for as long as I can. And for people like that, you only have a limited amount of time to cash in on it, especially, what percentage of people actually make it to professional sports. You might as well make a little bit of cash while you're, making the university a shitload of cash.
Yeah.
So good for Florida. That's really awesome for student athletes. I think that will ultimately be the norm, or like you said, some other schools are going to pop up and start doing that. But I'm sure there's going to be some situations for that where it's like, hey, the Michael Scott fun run we're doing, can you just send an athlete down? Great, man, do it. Send somebody that'll get the community excited about the players, and they make a little money.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryan coming with a comment here. He said, I know this is mainly a football podcast, but why do you think that stud from Kentucky basketball stayed another year? Definitely for the NIL deals. Before that, no player hardly ever stayed at Kentucky. I mean, so just look.
We were just talking about this last night.
Well, look what it's going to do for his value in the draft next year.
Yeah.
And he's also going to be able to stay and make some good money while he's at it. So, I think this is one of the greatest things that I've seen come out of the NIL. And you're going to see every other major college follow suit with what Florida just did. like Corey said, you're just gonna see these start popping up like wildfire. This is gonna be one of the major tools in their recruiting class for the next, I would say 2 years. Before, I don't know if other universities are working on this. They obviously got somebody who was super fucking smart and got this thing rolled out real fast.
It's actually not from the university. They're affiliated with the university, so it was started by fans. It's literally just dudes with cash that love the Gators are like, hey, let's make us good, and now like we can just start throwing money at these programs and helping it improve, and that's really what it's coming. That's what it is right now. So
okay,
they're just affiliated with the university.
Do you take this technology and sell it to other schools and just charge them a fucking ass load?
See, I mean, these guys are all Gators fans, so I doubt it. But I mean,
I was gonna say, I just don't think there's anything really proprietary about what they did. It's certainly innovative, and they're the first to do it. But they're basically just making like
it's like a GoFundMe,
be a super PAC or like
pretty much. It is, 100%.
It's a collection of money to disperse to the people we want.
And you talk about this is one of your favorite things that you've seen out of the NIL. I think one of my favorite things that we're starting to see out of the NIL is that, and Ryan kind of touched on it. It's becoming financially advantageous. It's financially incentivizing some players to stay in college.
Right.
For instance, this Kentucky player that he's referencing would have probably been a late second round pick next year in the NBA draft. And the money that he's guaranteed from his contract in the NBA draft, Jordan, thanks for liking the stream, bro. The money that he's guaranteed in his contract being a late second round is less than he's going to be pulling in on these NIL deals at Kentucky. So he's going to stay, continue to get his education, and that's a great part. We're going to talk. A lot of people are worried about the bad stuff about NILs, and we're going to talk about one of those here in a little bit, but there's been a lot of positive things early on, which if you're a fan of this, it's encouraging.
And the only other piece of that too is, and you basically touched on it, but that's just actually better for the pro game, because how many times do we see guys come out way too early and they just aren't ready. And so that's really only going to be a better feeder system than for the pro leagues.
Yeah. I mean, that's so my thing with college sports and why I really have never been able to get into it is because players don't usually stick around long enough for you to really get behind them in the team.
Yeah.
And one thing that you're seeing, especially with the gentleman from UK, I cannot remember his name, but you're gonna see guys that are sticking around in college because number one, they're making bank. Two, they're gonna get their education, and three, they're gonna stay for 4 years to make all that guaranteed money and then go to the NBA. Be a high first round draft pick and get the bag. So it's a win-win. If they stay healthy, and I think it's great for the game of college basketball. Obviously, it's the Wild West right now, and there's a lot that could go wrong with it, but it's definitely going to get me more excited about college sports. And that's one thing that I'm looking forward to.
That plus the transfer portal, it's just leveling the playing field at this point. It's letting the market really dictate what happens. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and when you have coaches moving around like they do, I think players should be afforded the same right.
At this rate, like Harvard, which has the largest endowment of any college in the country, like 20 years, Harvard could be a powerhouse now. No, I'm just kidding,
but chance.
Could be. Could be.
You never
bunch
know,
of nerds. Nerds don't win football.
So
it's true. They don't.
Dale came in the comment. He said St. X, Moeller, and Elder will only get bigger with these deals. Yeah. I mean,
but Aaron, he's talking Catholic league schools, similar to St. Iggs and all that stuff. So it's I agree. I mean, it's going to start bleeding into the high schools, and
it did in Ohio. That's it's crazy.
So the money's going to continue to influence the game, which it already has. But
just let some mom and pop shop pancake place pay the offensive lineman for the high school to have some stupid commercial about you want pancakes, I get pancake. Cool, whatever. It's on local access. Guy got $150 gas money.
Hey, it is what it is.
Free pancakes too.
Oh yeah. That's where the damage is.
Bacon is extra though, motherfucker. You're paying for bacon.
Ryan said, plus another year of free hookers and tattoos. Oh my God. I mean, I guess you're not.
You can get them for free, man.
Yeah, they're not hookers if it's free.
Should get it for free.
I believe those are groupies. Anyways, Ted said it's definitely been a long time coming. I hate it when people used to argue that they didn't deserve anything because they got a free education, but they're making the school millions of dollars for a bachelor's degree, which is now equivalent to a high school diploma these days. You're absolutely right, man.
Great point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can, you know, if you don't have the athletic talent, there's tons of jobs in the, you know, in the manual trades that pay just as good, if not better, than having a college degree. So it's kind of just a useless piece of paper at this point, in my opinion. But unless you're,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, unless you're doing something specialized, you know, it's really just a. I mean, if you're going to school to be like engineering, a scientist, an engineering degree, law, like something like that. But I mean, what does a business degree do for you these days outside? Say, hey, I got a piece of paper here.
Get you a sales job.
They're not usually, they're not going for doctorates while they're there to play football. But the other thing too, and I agree with Tez's point. Completely, yeah, I agree with the point completely. And the one thing that sold me on it before this was, you know, a thing, and it was a part of the discussion, was you can go to any college in the country on a programming scholarship, create a software, and sell it while you're there. So the getting a free education thing isn't really part of it. That's how you entice people to come to your university, because you want to be able to say, we had X superstar, we had whatever. There's benefits more to the school than there is the person that's actually receiving them. So get yours. And like I said, if you are a guy who's going to be a top recruit for Google out of college, you've probably wrote and sold some kind of thing while you were under scholarship.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tez kind of mirrored the point that it's great for college because most people come out early. Bodies aren't ready for the NBA. Yeah, I mean, it's a different size man in the NBA, you know, from the NBA to college. Obviously, there's some guys that come out and they're ready, and then there's some guys that get to the NBA and then get bigger than all of them, like Zion Williamson, but maybe not in the right way. But yeah, Ryan said, you're right. I'm a criminal justice degree, and he's now a plumber. So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
got mine right here. Degree with telecommunications with a focus in radio, and I'm a podcaster.
Mine's right up there.
There you go. Hold it down.
Mine's upstairs.
These are my qualifications for this podcast, right?
Just wanted to let you know that I am a college-educated individual. Chat means absolutely nothing. I do nothing related to what I went to school for. So, yeah. Let's see here. Jaden said, "Shit. Hopefully, it makes Oak Hills a better football team because we suck right now." So Oak Hills got money like that?
Maybe.
I don't know. Somebody there has money. That's all I know. Dale said he wants meal swipes. Enough said. Ryan said, "Is there downfalls of the NIL?"
Oh,
yeah, of course.
Thank you for asking.
Perfect segue into the next topic of discussion. Let's get into it. What would you say are the biggest? I was gonna say top three, but like, what are the biggest downfalls of the NIL?
Aaron? I mean, when you have name, image, and likeness, and players getting paid, money brings greed. Greed brings corruption, and I think you see that across all different types of. I mean, hell, the NCAA itself was kind of corrupt before that because they're like, no, we don't pay taxes. They aren't employees. They're not, like, that's pretty fucked up. But anytime the money flows in places like that, there's always going to be people trying to take advantage of the situation, whether that be an alumnus. Still keep in mind, these are young adults, basically children. 18, 19, 20, 21. And I think there is a possibility of, some kids being taken advantage of, obviously trying to get that money, but they're, not mature functioning adults at that point. Obviously there's plenty of examples of kids who seem wise beyond their years. But these are college kids. They're just gigantic and they can kill me.
Some of them look like they're in their mid 40s, but yeah, just how they are.
I asked one to buy me beer the other day.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some of that, thing, people getting taken advantage of But I think the pendulum's going to swing. So you're going to see that, and then there's going to be a reaction to that, whether that means more regulation or more programs to help these athletes into this new realm that they're entering, whatever it is. But some way to rectify that, and it'll continue to move back and forth until they find an even center. I think that among with like parent, you guys kind of talked about on Tuesday night on Town Hall. How is this going to affect parents and their relationship with their future athlete, like star athlete, and the way that it already happens in like AAU basketball, but now like football and everything, it's just going to become more prevalent, I think, in the way that they push their kids, or some would even say use their kids for their future success. So there's going to be that.
Yeah.
Do you want to jump on that?
No, I mean,
Okay.
I kind of alluded to that Tuesday when Todd and I were talking about it. So,
that's what I was mentioning. Yeah. And then I think the other thing is the bastardization or the prostitution of the sport itself, turning it into nothing against the sport of NASCAR, but turning jerseys into NASCARs. One of my favorite things about football is all the cool uniforms. Like, there's nothing like seeing the classic uniforms, or somebody comes out with a cool alternate. If we're start covering these up with logos or making them look weird, like somebody did in Central Florida this week, Bobby. What happened with UCF this week? They decided to replace the back of their jerseys with QR codes. QR codes instead of numbers on the back of their jerseys for their spring game, and there's plans to roll it out for the season. I mean, that's
so. How does the ref call that out when it's holding on number super cluster black dots in the right corner?
He's got it right here. He's got it on the front and on the arms. They got their numbers there. Just the back, the number is now, it's a QR code.
It's just like, man, this is dangerous, but I love Fig Newtons.
Yeah. I do love Fig Newtons, and I can't see a thing. Yeah, no, I mean, and the concept itself is stupid. Like, what you're at, by the time somebody in the stands is like zooming in or like pausing their fucking TV to zoom in on this fucking QR code at the perfect angle, at the time they could have just fucking looked them up. 52 on UCF. Like, it's the exact same thing.
What's the point of the QR code?
I think it's UCF has always been this like fringe school in terms of they're the outcast, they're the downtrodden, they are David versus Goliath. They have this mentality, and they try and be cutting edge and on the riff, right? And I think that's what this is. They're like, they're just jumping balls deep into this NIL and just in the wrong direction. Like everyone else is too, but they're just doing it in the weirdest way possible, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I get it. I mean, they're always trying to attract those, but like, you're right. They're not the top dogs, but they're always there. And that's kind of their recruiting angle is, you want to get the guys that didn't make Ohio State or Alabama, but doesn't want to go play at Northwestern. You know what I mean? Like, could play Big Ten football, or doesn't want to go play at Mississippi State or something like that. I'd rather be in competitive games, maybe lose one game, maybe go undefeated, but we're not going to be playing for a national championship. Is the way it's gone for them lately. So it's just a way to be different and to stand out. And here's the thing, they got us talking about it. Are they actually going to do that? I will be really upset if they do. For a spring game, though, it's just kind of like, it's like in your own, you know what I mean? Nobody really gives a shit about spring.
It's kind of like a PR move type.
Yeah, I hope so. I'll just put it to you that way. I hope so, because I don't want to be like, get off my lawn guy.
Fucking Gus Malzahn had one, dude. Gus Malzahn had a QR code on his fucking polo. I swear to God.
You're gonna see the refs walk around with one of those scanners that you see at fucking Lowe's that they pull out and just scan shit. They're just gonna walk up to him, zip.
Yeah,
I hope so.
100%.
Number 76, holding.
Prints him out a fucking ticket and sticks it to his helmet.
Check. Here's your receipt.
All right, X-Play. Let's go.
Ryan came in with a good question. He said, does it swing into other sports that don't generate a lot of money, like baseball, for example, where most first-round picks come out of high school, where that could give them incentive to go to college and get a degree?
Does it swing into baseball? I mean, I think it just depends on where your money is for your school. Like if your school has a lot of baseball money, like because like they were doing this already. You know what I mean? Like there's already greasing going on. Now it's just they're able to do it from a legal standpoint.
Right.
And
Exactly.
they might even be able to make it a tax write-off at this point. So I just think it depends on the program and where the money is. If there's money invested in baseball, like Kent State, their baseball program is probably going to benefit because of this. Other baseball schools like Florida, Tennessee, those schools are going to benefit. Those baseball programs are going to benefit from this.
Yeah, I just like if you're a school that, there are schools that their number one sport is baseball. There's schools that their number one sport is wrestling, or hockey. Like there are those kind of like niche schools, but I don't think there's as much NIL money out there than that people are anticipating. Like I think top players are going to play, but like if you're a baseball player, you just don't have that national appeal, and you might get a local car dealership spot or something like that. But I don't think there's going to be as much money rolling into this as people think. It's not going to be pro athletes. It's too diluted of a pool. You can do a lot of things with it. And just to me, it's just important that an athlete can go to the mall and sign their name and make $25 a pop. Like that's what most of this NIL money is going to be. It's not going to be, Coca-Cola going to sign some. I just don't see that.
Yeah. I think it's going to be pretty similar to the way that like marketing is right now for the major sport. Like the top dog is going to be football. That's just how it is. Next will be basketball. And then I think probably baseball will be next. I think that'll be the way that the money flows out. Cause that's just the way it is right now too. Yeah. NCAA football is king, and then basketball. And I would say baseball is coming up. And I think then hockey is coming up a little bit behind that, just in terms of, and even softball. Softball is another one that gets a lot of, current media attention. I think they're on ESPN with their championship as well. So, I think
basketball get a lot more attention.
Women's, absolutely. And you're gonna, the way that it is currently tiered is where the money is gonna fall.
The other thing too, though, is these kids that have side hustles weren't allowed to do it. I forgot who it was, but there was a kicker who had to shut down his YouTube page because it was monetized for him. And
he was making money.
He was just making money. Like,
it was that when you have these destroy videos or whatever.
Yeah, he was just he would make cool kicks and stuff. Like it was just like a.
Oh, he does.
We all watch this.
I follow that guy. He's made millions off of his YouTube channel.
Exactly, but he wasn't allowed to kick in college because he had that. And it's like when you have this generation of kids that are like on Twitch streaming and like stuff like that, they all want to be famous early. And that's if you're able to do it, great. I have to get up and go to work tomorrow, but that's great. You made $6 million last year. That's the stuff to me that is like the biggest importance of the NIL, is that these kids are able to do other things outside of, I have to go to football practice. I have to live it, breathe it, sleep it. Like, especially with this generation, I think it's much different.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a different world that we're living in now than what we grew up in. And we're starting to see some of that change come into effect.
Are we becoming the old men on the lawns?
I'm going to go, we got to yell at clouds.
Hey.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Simpsons.
I want to be the king of the hill guys next to the fence. We do that.
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
God damn it. All right. What else do we got, Bob?
God damn it, Bobby. No, so we'll shift gears back to the NFL. I have a little bit of a trivia question for you. So obviously the draft's coming up next week. I'm sure you guys hopefully don't know. Who has the most draft picks in the draft this year? Two teams tied. And who has the least?
I'd say the Rams have the Rams have the least.
That is not accurate.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay. Is it the Colts? No, they just got a bunch back.
I would guess top. I'm going to say the Texans. And you said it's tied with somebody?
The Texans are not it.
Is it the Lions?
The Houston's tied for the second most. They have 11.
Okay.
The number is 12.
Is it the Lions?
No.
Steelers?
It is a really good football team and a team that was not very good last year.
Giants.
Oh. That's a good
Yeah.
Jets. Okay. No,
what the fuck? Okay,
I'm
really
just
good
naming-
team.
I'm just naming teams.
The Buccaneers.
What it was, I will say, it was a team in the AFC that had quite a bit of drama going on.
The Raiders.
They have the least.
Oh wow.
oh,
Okay.
there you go.
They have 5.
All right. Wow. Holy shit.
That is it.
Okay, so team that
Jaden
had a
said the Cardinals. That is not the answer. Arizona has 8. They're kind of middle of the pack.
AFC, a lot of drama.
Tez,
Is that it?
bingo.
Jaguars. Yeah.
Okay.
They have
okay.
12. The
Okay.
other team was a contending team in the AFC. They're both AFC.
My problem was I just forgot about Jacksonville entirely.
Yeah, I forgot they were a team. Same here.
So by those
Yep.
standards, it's the Texans.
That's fair. They do have 11 though. Tied for second at 11 is Houston and Green Bay.
So is it the
Okay.
Chiefs?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs have 12 draft picks.
12 draft picks this year.
Oh, yeah, they have. Don't they have 29 and 30?
The Chiefs have. Let me pull it up here. Hold on, I passed it.
I think they have back to back in the first round.
They do. They have picks 29 and pick 30.
Yeah.
So they have 29, 30, 50, and 62. So
So that's
they've
that's
got
an interesting
4 picks in the
spot.
first 2 rounds.
they can leverage that 29th spot to a team that wants a quarterback that fell, that wants to get ahead of those early round picks, like the Lions. So like let's say Malik Willis comes off the board, and let's say Kenny Pickett comes off the board, and Desmond Ritter's sitting there. The Chiefs have a pick that they're willing to let go of if they can get an additional, maybe just move back like 20 spots and get a 4th round for the next year, right? That's an interesting spot right there. Another interesting spot is going to be 5 and 7. Those are held by the New York Giants, who have invested already in quarterback this year in the offseason. Obviously getting Ty God, praise be. But they only have to move back a couple of spots, probably get an additional 1st round pick again, so they're keeping that value for what they need on their team right now. So those are my 2 favorite potential trades. As the next time we'll be meeting will be draft night. It will be draft night. And,
Yeah.
I'm excited. Poncho vibes.
I believe we'll also have Todd here for that as well.
Oh yeah. Whole crew.
No, it'll be an absolute party here next week. Tez, you didn't cheat. That's
Proud of you.
Proud.
Proud of you. Good job.
Hashtag proud. Jaden said Buffalo. Buffalo's right in the middle. They've got 8. The Bengals have 8 this year. Let's take a look and see what their draft stock looks like. They're pretty spread out. They've pretty much got 1 pick around.
I mean, to have 8 picks in 7 rounds, I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? 1 more than you're guaranteed. So
let's see. The good old Brownies, they have 7. So basically a pick. They don't have any picks in the first round. 0.
No.
They've got 1 in the second.
See you guys
and then
Friday. I'm just kidding.
Let's see here. Tez, your Rams, they have 8, so right in the middle of the pack. Steelers have 7, a pick around. Chargers have 10 picks this year. So double digit picks this year. You've got the Eagles, you've got the Chargers, Jacksonville, Kansas City, Green Bay, Houston, Baltimore, and that's it. The Baltimore also has 10 picks as well.
Bro.
I love where your head's at, man.
I love it.
I think they could, yeah.
I don't see why not.
Why not? Why not?
You just have to sell your self-respect, but that's about it.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you do on there, right? You don't have to get naked and do stuff weird. You don't have to do that. Just a paywall just for your content.
That is the equivalent of the 80s. I'm reading Playboy for the articles.
Yeah. There you go. That's a great analogy. What if they just get on there though and just like, I don't know, play video games or something. Yeah, do whatever they want to do.
They have that platform elsewhere.
Yeah, it's called
Twitch.
Twitch.
Like Twitch. That's true. Good point. That's a good point.
If you wanted some good gaming content, there's definitely some other.
So there's paywalls on Twitch.
Yeah, or you can donate, or it's I don't know. You
can subscribe. You can donate. There's direct.
Are there paywalls though? Can you make your content only visible? Because that's the whole idea of OnlyFans is that there's a paywall to view the content.
So you can with Facebook, but not Twitch. So you can have like a supporter page where only supporters can see what you're posting on that page.
So I'm thinking we Twitch blend the OnlyFans Twitch. We'll call it Snatch, and we'll make millions.
There's yeah.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's get a prototype. Can we get a fucking storyboard together, please?
there's gotta be a more appealing name than Snatch. We gotta workshop.
And Brad Pitt's the spokesperson. End of meeting.
We've gone off the rails, chat. This time it was us, hilarious. Not you guys.
Perfect.
But yeah, so there's going to be a lot of action. I got a feeling, a lot of these teams that have high draft capital and double-digit picks are going to be shelling some of those out for, especially with the draft class. If they don't have somebody necessarily that they've got their eye on, they'll be more willing to get rid of that pick. It's going to be interesting. Tez came in and asked us who do we think is going number one. I know it's a question we've been posed quite a bit, leading up to the draft, but. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to really pick it,
right?
You think it's Hutchinson?
Yeah,
he's been getting a ton of press lately.
So I feel like that one's kind of been penciled in for a little bit. If I'm being honest,
yeah. Okay. How do you?
I'm not high on Aiden Hutchinson, honestly.
So we talked about this.
I'm not really high on a lot of these guys. If outside of I'm high on the receivers for sure.
Yeah, I am too.
But that's also a position that doesn't start getting taken until around like 5 and later.
Yeah.
Usually this first pick is a left tackle, a defensive end, or obviously a quarterback.
Right.
And there's really hasn't been many exceptions to that.
Yeah, that's pretty much been exactly how the chips have fallen. So Aiden Hutchinson is actually throwing out the first pitch at the Tigers game. I think it's tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So I think Aiden Hutchinson, I think there might be some communication going on between Jacksonville and Detroit. Like, hey, man, just tell us who the fuck you're taking. Right. And they're just like, yeah, this is who we're taking. Like, all right, cool. Then we'll start working our shit with Aiden. So I think that there might be a little bit of a change as to that. And I just feel like it makes too much sense for Aiden Hutchinson going to Detroit. So
Ryan said I did, so why couldn't a female? Ryan, you had a fucking OnlyFans?
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. I got to know what this is.
Right.
What is the content though? That's what I got.
I want to know the content before
he was just sitting there nailing nails into a block of wood on a live feed.
He was speed running Super Mario.
He was just eating pizza in silence.
Just the saddest OnlyFans ever.
Ryan said there's going to be 13 receivers picked in the first 2 rounds. All right, over under 13.
In the first 2?
First 2 rounds.
I'll take the under.
Run that back.
I was putting in water heaters naked.
That's a sight. What was the question again, Bob?
So Ryan said there's going to be 13 receivers picked in the first 2 rounds, and I asked over under.
Yeah, I go under. Yeah,
that's a high mark.
That's pretty high. Yeah.
So you got to think that's 64 picks. You're saying that 13 receivers are going to be picked in the first 2 rounds. I mean, I know there's some great talent at the position, but is it really that deep? Like, are you gonna spend a second round pick after you get past like the top 5 guys? Are you really going to spend a second round pick on that when you can get them in the 3rd or the 4th? I don't know.
It's deep, but here's the thing. At that why that won't happen is because at that point there would be so much other value left on the board that you would force the hands of other teams to take non-need positions because of the value of the player. That's just how it would happen.
Oh yeah.
The only reason I could see it getting up to that high is just what we've seen with the receiver market lately is the value of having a first. Obviously, with the first round, you get the 5th year, but still having those guys under reasonable team control for at least 4 years. I can absolutely see a world where there's a run on wide receivers, and we're looking at 10 to 11. 13 is just too high to me.
Yeah, I would still say it's probably max is going to be 10 max. I think Olave is the first Ohio State receiver off the board. I don't think there's really any question.
You do.
there.
I got Wilson.
Yeah,
I got Wilson.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's my dog, dude. I think Garrett Wilson is like Jamar Chase. Like he reminds me.
I'll take it a step further. I think he's the first receiver off the board.
I agree with that. He would be mine if I had to take a receiver. He'd be the one I'd take. Honestly, when I look at wide receivers and I watched his film, he reminds me of Jamar Chase. It's terrifying.
I see Steph Diggs, but I can see that. Yeah,
I just see the
way,
footwork.
You can't really go wrong.
They're
Both
pretty
talented people.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it's go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I would say. I mean, Olave is going to be off the board pretty quickly too.
Yes,
I mean, they're both extremely talented and
very good.
No doubt, first rounder to me.
Yeah.
I would even say probably top 10. I think they're both gone.
Really?
First 10.
Wow. You're high on Olave. Not that I'm not. I think he's great. I think he's more like 20s, but that's
I think that's interesting. Normally with wide receivers, I feel like we know the first one off the board, but then from there it can go different directions from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so while Olave might be the next best, rated wide receiver, the most talented, it just changed, like the way that he plays versus what that team needs at wide receiver. It could just change out differently, and sometimes you see guys fall at that position retrospect to their peers just because of what their skill set really is. Does it fit that team as much? So there's only a few times.
Quarterback, he's going to eat though because he's just a deep threat like that.
Yeah.
Ryan said I could see him going back to back, and Ted said I think they're both top 15. Top 10 is my hot take.
I like it.
That'd be fucking crazy. That'd be awesome.
And the only other long stretch that I'm going to say is that punter. I think he goes 3rd or 4th round. The one that was kicking 80-yard bomb.
Oh, Matt Arisia or something like that from San Diego State.
Yeah. I'd say third or 4th round. I called that.
That would be insane.
Middle of last football season when we were doing
3rd or 4th round would be wild, bro.
Yeah, 3rd or 4th round. Calling my shot. I called it in the middle of the season. Still true to this day. Kobe.
80-yard bombs don't do you any good when you need him to go 60. Well, how's his accuracy?
He's great.
Well,
he's really good. And
I haven't checked in on my punter tape yet, so that's on me.
Yeah, it's all good. You got a few weeks,
man.
Yeah. No, but I think that would be pretty wild if you went that early because there's only one kicker taken last year in the draft. It was Evan McPherson in the 5th round. He was the only special teams, if I'm not mistaken, punter or kicker that was taken in the draft at all. So I could be mistaken on that. There might have been some punters taken, but I know he's the first kicker off the board, and it was in the 5th round. So that would be pretty wild.
Field position, if you are that elite at it, what's that value? It's just typically kickers you're going to be able to get with it's kind of like an unspoken. Obviously there are guys who are so good that they deserve to be drafted, but it's kind of the unspoken rule of these are going to be undrafted free agents. We'll grab one.
Yeah, and I think. Right. Just think about like the ultimate punter, like a guy that can put it within the 5 every time and you can't do anything about it.
Right.
Just put it within the 5. Like think about how that sets your defense up for success every time and thus your offense, right? I mean, you had to fail on offense though to punt the ball. You had to fail to punt in the first place, but it sets you up to be able to get that possession back quickly.
Right. Ryan, you're gonna have to try a little bit harder with that name there, fella. I don't know if you got any of us here.
Pretty good name though.
It's a solid name. I got a feel.
Is
that Aussie rules?
He's Aussie rules football. It reminds me of that skit from Zach Galifianakis, where he's like, "Dad, what's up with our last name?" He's like, "Our last name is great. It starts with a gal." It ends with a kiss. He's like, well, Dad, do you think we can change our name to Zach Galifianakis? Fuck. The best.
Ryan, I'm pretty confident you've caught us slipping quite a bit. So, Tez said he's hoping they draft the punters since we let Hecker go. He might. Johnny Hecker. You mean he had him for a long time? He was a beast.
Where did he land?
Yeah, I don't know where he went.
No, I'm not up to date on the punter.
Not ears to the ground on the punter game.
No.
Right.
We're weak away from the draft, man. You got to be checking
Block
special teams now.
Yeah, come on. Punter game is hot right now.
But no,
Chat, what else you got for us?
Yeah, chat. Let us know. Like I said, if you haven't liked the video, if you haven't shared the video yet, please hit that little blue in the bottom corners of your stream tonight. Aaron, what do you got tonight? What do you want to talk about that we haven't really discussed?
It kind of just got me thinking when we were talking about Wilson and Olave maybe going back to back, and Ohio State's had a lot of receivers I think come out lately, but like what's your wide receiver you?
Ooh.
I mean, I think the candidates obviously, I'll say Ohio State, Alabama, LSU. I think those would probably be your three. You could even maybe throw Clemson in there, but
not much.
Yeah.
No, it's like T. Higgins and Sammy Watkins?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's okay.
He's got decent hands.
I think it's Ohio State, in my opinion. I don't get me wrong, Jamar Chase, J. Jeff, Landry, OBJ. I mean, LSU's got a lot of big producers too, but I look at it never ends at Ohio State. I feel like there's just always stud receivers coming out of there.
Which is funny because they're not a team that's known for having good quarterbacks.
And NFL quarterbacks, right? Absolutely.
NFL quarterbacks, that's what I mean.
Right, absolutely. And that's another thing is that even during the season, they're not necessarily like crazy wide receivers that are like necessarily getting nominated for the Heisman Trophy, but once they get to the NFL, it's like, damn, dude, and they just dominate. Like, look at Mike Thomas. Like, there's so many examples like that where when they get to the NFL, it's just fuck. Okay, well, he's here now.
Well, even Jameson Williams, who some people had as their number one receiver, especially prior to that injury, in the national championship game, transferred from Ohio State because he was behind Wilson Olave.
Yeah.
And then Smith and Jigba, who had 1,000 receiving yards in that bowl game. Like it was just ridiculous. He's probably going to be better than Wilson or Olave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. there too at Ohio State. He's not a slouch, and he's his dad was pretty good. So
I think they've definitely best of late, but LSU's got a good run for it too.
Yeah, they do. Especially just having that, like, it's been going on for so long now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it seems to happen in waves at least.
Do you think it's going to stay the same in LSU with the coaching change?
That's a good question. Probably not, but I guess it would just kind of depend on how because they're still LSU though. You know what I mean? Like I think it kind of recruits itself at this point. The only thing is, guys that are really good are going to be attracted to those programs because they get those people drafted in the first round in the NFL. So as long as they're continuously doing that, then the cycle should remain.
Yeah, listen, they were a successful wide receiver university, if that's what you want to call it, before Coach O. And I think they can be after as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would love to see Ohio State produce a quarterback that actually transitions to the NFL, but I just don't know if it's ever going to happen.
Through multiple regime changes, too.
Stroud is being top, first or second quarterback for next year. I mean, we see it a lot. Obviously,
I was high on Justin Fields when he went to Chicago, but
we still don't know that one yet.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, look at the way we anticipated the quarterback market to go at the beginning of this last season, and it just completely changed within the first 3 weeks of NCAA football. So,
yeah.
I did have one more little tidbit for us. I saw that for the first time in program history, the University of Cincinnati has locked down a 4-star recruit, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's the first time, if I'm not mistaken. So you are already seeing the fact that they were in the playoff and they are moving into the Big 12, pay off for the recruiting efforts, and Luke Fickell staying on board, staying with the program. It's going to be, if you're a Bearcats fan, this is like your dream scenario. Like if you're like one of those smaller market teams and you're just a diehard for that team, this is your dream. This is exactly what you wanted to happen. It's pretty awesome. I don't know if you guys had what else you thought on that?
I mean, this is exactly why we need NCAA football back for video games, because that's the best moment is when you take a program and then you start seeing the guys who are interested and that meter's moving a little and you're trying to convince them. And then you got these 4 and 5 stars who are like, yeah, I'm ready to go rock BG because I'm
ready to go Bowling Green. Yeah, let's do it. This one, the Sugar Bowl, bro.
With the NIL deal coming to fruition, I mean, there's no sense that it doesn't come back because that's just another moneymaker for the NCAA.
Yeah,
I agree. The only problem is going to be licensing. You basically would just license through the schools, which whatever is not a big deal. I don't think it'll ever be the same, but now that the NIL is there, because how do you compensate for that? Take all of the players, all of the teams, and divide it by 70 guys on a college football roster. Like you want to disperse royalty checks and people are going to be cashing like $1.26. Like I don't really know how that shakes out. There's a lot that I think needs to be ironed out. I know they've announced that, they're coming.
So there's going to be like collective bargaining. There's going to be like,
yeah. Cause like for the video games, you have the Players Association.
Oh, okay.
That handles that. They don't really have
for the video games.
Sport,
gotcha.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So like, yeah, when you load it up, you always see the like NFLPA or whatever logo. So I think it'll happen. I just want it to, because like Corey's saying for Cincinnati, that's like the best part when you were playing the game is you start to notice these recruits that actually want to come to you.
So here's a question, and I think this might be the route. They only pay for the people that they need to pay for in the game to make it suffice. Like they're not going to pay for the backup center at Illinois. You know what I mean? They're not going to pay for his name, image, and likeness to make the game. They're just going to pay for starting rosters of most of the Power 5 teams, I think, is what they're going to pay for. And then the rest of the guys just won't get anything. And that's just, sorry, be better. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. That's marketing. That's exactly what it is. So
yeah, then you'll have Joe Smith, and Joe Smith. Starting as the backups to
they still got to make sure it's not likeness though, because that's the problem they ran into, because it was quarterback number 15 for the Gators, who's this white fast boy. Yeah. And like that's his likeness. So I'd be fine if they even now like just had a game and it's just literally nobody is alike, or I get to start whenever, or hell, give me 4 years ago before none of these guys were even playing and I'm playing, you know what I mean? Like who cares?
Right.
But I don't know. I hope they figure it out, because that was always the best.
Yeah. Ryan asked this question and said, do we have Breece Hall as the first running back taken?
No idea.
Is that the guy from Michigan State? That's the guy I have.
No, that's Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. He was so much fun to watch this last year.
He was. That's who
I'll
be
honest. I'm much more.
I don't know a whole
lot. A college guy. So, and since my team has Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I haven't been watching a lot of running back tape.
No, I can't imagine you would. Breece Hall is Iowa State.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar. Maybe I need to look him up before draft night. I'll be interested to see how many running backs go in the first round, if any.
I'll be interested to see all the sad stories they come up with when it's like, this guy's mom was shot and its dad had a washing machine dropped on his head when he was 15 as he's like walking up to the stage. They always do that shit. It bugs the hell out of me.
Yeah,
it's like, this is this kid's best moment of his life. And you're just like,
talk about the worst thing that's ever happened to him. Go.
So everywhere
you think you can get him to cry?
Let's see. This one's good. This one's got Breece Hall ranked as the best running back in this draft class. They got Dameon Pierce from Florida second, Kenneth Walker from Michigan State third, Isaiah Spiller, Texas A&M 4, Yeah, I'm in the same boat with Aaron. I don't know much about the collegiate running backs that are available. We've got Najee Harris, so
and as we've seen,
I'm pretty
too,
satisfied with him.
The teams are pretty content not taking running backs in the first round for the most part,
Right.
and that's kind of the trend that we've seen. So it doesn't really have that same illustrious that it did before when it was like Reggie Bush is the second pick. You know, the Saints trade their entire draft for Ricky Williams. Like you're you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
That came across my feed today, and I saw that, and it reminded me of it. They literally traded their entire draft in 1999 or 2000 or whatever it was to trade up for Ricky Williams. And it was like they were asking Ricky if he would have done that for him, and he was like, no, I would have done that to trade for me. Hell no.
Exactly right. It's insane. Like something like that is batshit crazy to think about now, just because of the way that we value running backs. And it kind of full circle how we were talking about Debo at the beginning. Like he doesn't want to be treated like a running back, not only because like he'll still get paid like a receiver, but you don't want to go through the grind of a running back,
the wear and tear,
exactly running between the tackles. Exactly shortening your NFL lifespan for sure, probably your actual lifespan as well. But second and third round is where you're, and that's the other thing too, is you can get good value at a position that affects your offense in the second and third round when you take a running back like that. Like spending a second round pick on Nick Chubb has been great. He should have never been a first rounder.
Right, unless it's like an Adrian Peterson, Derrick Henry like style guy that's gonna come in and completely change your offense.
That's the thing is like at this point, it's when you take him in the first round, he has to be that then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he has to be at that level. And if he's not, then that pick was a waste. You know what I'm saying? Like
Saquon Barkley, the most recent example.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I loved the way he played.
Player, but usually when you're picking second in the draft, there's a problem with your team, and it might be your offensive line. I don't think a running back is going to help that.
Right.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that you can get a beast of a running back, and he's still not going to be effective if he gets beat up.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley's got the biggest thighs in the NFL, and he's still not impervious to the hits from these absolute grown men on the other side of the ball.
And I mean, look at the league as well. Look at the teams that are successful. That's what I always try to do. Look at the teams that are successful. Which one of them has like one of the top running backs in the league? None of them.
I mean, I think the running game is very important still today.
It is
in today's NFL. It's just so much more by committee. It's like it's a bullpen effort than it is having an ace pitcher.
So, yep, exactly. I mean, so the best running backs in the league, like Dalvin Cook, Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, the list goes. I think Chubb gets into that conversation. Absolutely,
he does. But and I love what the Browns. When you have a guy like Hunt there, like Chubb is going to be going into his fifth year, and he hasn't really shown any signs of slowing down because you're not asking him to carry the ball 220 times a season.
Right,
you're getting a lot of shelf life out of that talent. The problem is these guys are on rookie deals and they get their heads popped in.
Yep.
And you've seen the guys who get the second contract at running back, Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara's been good, but still there's Christian McCaffrey injury. They get injured with that second contract, and they just, you're basically paying them for past performance.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why more teams don't do the running back by committee. It's better for the running back. It's better for them as a human. They're gonna last longer. They're gonna make more money. And they're gonna have a longer career.
Well, if you say make more money
at it, right?
Unless you're Frank Gore,
right?
And then you're just Iron Man. That dude broke his hip and still ended up playing 20 seasons in the NFL.
Animal. Top. Was he third all time?
Frank Gore? Who's that? Oh, Frank Gore. Yeah. Everyone loves Frank Gore.
Yeah.
Dude,
Frank Gore's played long enough that we know who we've seen Frank Gore Jr. play football. It's college, but it counts.
Could you imagine him and his dad in the backfield running back by committee?
That would be insane. Like, remember, like, what was it? Like Griffey Sr. and Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
You imagine, though, for football?
For football, yeah.
That's one of the most demanding positions on the field.
Tom Brady could be, if his son becomes a wide receiver, you never know.
His son's like 12, isn't he?
I mean, Brady's still got another 15
years. Yeah, he's got another 15 in him. Yeah, easy.
he might surpass Vinny Testaverde as the oldest quarterback ever in the history of time.
Which was?
How old was Vinny Testaverde? He was like 46,
idea.
right?
I was gonna say I think he was the oldest player to start or throw a touchdown or start a game.
Maybe that's the record he's going for.
Stuck on longer, but I don't think he was actively playing.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but I thought I saw that stat when
came into a game through a touchdown.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Maybe that's the record Tom's chasing. That's why he keeps coming back.
The record he's chasing is just actual time.
Yeah.
I'm just going to transcend to infinity.
Oh wow. No, Tom Brady's already beat him. Testaverde was 44.
I was gonna say.
So so now it's Tom Brady.
Yep.
He's got it all now. He's got all the records, including being old as shit. And anyways, we'll take the last question, then we'll wrap it up for the evening. Ryan said, speaking of Kamara, have you heard anything after his Vegas beatdown? I haven't. I don't know about you guys.
Nothing.
It's been pretty
quiet
on the low. That's probably how they're trying to keep it.
While I haven't been watching punter tape, I've been all over TMZ. So let me I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
You had me there for a second. I thought you were about to just like rip it and break it down. But no, I mean, the best thing for him right now is no news. So I think he needs to continue to fly under the radar and try to keep that quiet, and maybe people will forget about it once he starts scoring touchdowns again.
It's typically how it goes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes.
Fucking way it is.
All right, chat. Well, we appreciate everybody swinging through this evening. Appreciate all the reactions and the engagement. Definitely always helps us get through our evenings.
It was awesome.
Corey, Aaron, appreciate you guys being on here as always. Chat, you guys enjoy your weekends. Be safe. I'll be coming at you next week on Tuesday with the town hall. Obviously in the paint on Wednesday and draft day on Thursday. So we will catch you guys then. That's all I got.
Leave your hair pieces out for Mel Kiper.
Do it.